mindful as you're out and about. Watch those toe chains. Make sure they're not dragging on the ground. Don't park in high grass. Dispose of those cigarettes and matches properly, please. Those gusty winds will continue even around 5 o'clock this evening, around that mid 30 mile per hour range that we're seeing in mid-20s for the Tucson area. Here's around 7 o'clock tonight, still staying with it. Not much relief until later on, the single digits around 11 o'clock tonight. Temp-wise, we are at 88 right now in Tucson, the coolest day of the week, believe it or not. We are checking in with our wind speed, 16 miles per hour. But Brooke, today's, as I mentioned, is the coolest day of the week. So enjoy those 80s because they are going away. The 90s are coming back, and so are the triple digits.
Thank you, Allie. Talk to you again soon. And now to the latest on wildfires burning across the state. Winds could be a challenge for firefighters as the Greer fire grows in eastern Arizona. It has burned more than 20,000 acres since it started last week. It's now larger than our nation's capital and spans more than 14,000 football fields. Several evacuation orders are still in place, and residents south of State Route 260 and west of River Road are in set status. Governor Katie Hobbs declared a state of emergency over the weekend. It will give fire crews an additional $200,000 to help fight the flames. And crews are making progress. 38% is now contained by fire lines. The cause of the fire, though, is still under investigation. We're also tracking a wildfire in Graham County. The Bryce Fire appears to be winding down now. It's been burning for nearly 2 weeks near the small town of Eden, northeast of Tucson, and has burned more than 3,000 acres. It's now 80% contained. About 140 officials from across the state are working to contain it. The Department of Forestry believes it was human-caused. Wow. Stage 2 fire restrictions are in place for state land, and Pima County may soon follow suit. The Board of Supervisors will be looking to implement them at its meeting tomorrow. 13 News reporter John Macaluso spoke to a board member today about the importance of those restrictions. And John, what they have to say?
Hey, Brooke. Yeah, I talked to District 2 Supervisor Dr. Matt Hines, and he tells me that he does expect this measure to pass tomorrow and that they are following state and federal fire restrictions. In addition to that, these restrictions will include things such as, starting a campfire, anything really regarding an open flame throughout Pima County.
No open flames, open use of like charcoal or coal, elevated grills, just kind of basic common sense kind of stuff, given that we have such an increased risk for wildfires right now.
Yeah, and he adds that with conditions this favorable, restrictions like this one help prevent wildfires, and if one ignites here in Pima County, it impacts all of Pima County. He also tells me that this restriction will be in place until further notice, which means it's likely they'll remain in place this Memorial Day weekend. Now, coming up on 13 News Live at 6, we'll be talking to Northwest Fire District firefighter about some of the experiences that he's recently seen as to why these restrictions may want to stay in place. We'll take a closer look at that coming up on 13 News Live at 6. Reporting here at Northwest Fire District, John Macaluso, 13 News.
All right, John, talk to you soon. In Tucson, officers are on the scene of a deadly crash in Midtown that's causing a traffic closure. The crash happened earlier today near Country Club Road and 22nd Street. Not a lot of information has been released, but the intersection of Country Club and Camino Campestre will be closed for several hours. Drivers are asked to avoid that area if at all possible. No word yet on what led to this, but we'll certainly keep you updated on air and online as we do learn more. And also in Tucson, one person is in the hospital with serious injuries after a car crash yesterday. It happened near Swan Road and 29th Street. Tucson police say 2 cars were involved and the drivers crashed into a tire shop. We're working to learn more about how it happened. An investigation's underway, and we'll update you again with the latest as it comes into our newsroom. A live look now from our nation's capital, where a sweeping bill key to President Donald Trump's legislative agenda is moving forward. The House Budget Committee voted to pass the bill 17-16 late last night. The bill changes Medicaid and extends trillions of dollars in tax cuts. The passage follows a failed vote on Friday as some Republican hardliners held out for even deeper cuts. After the vote, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt urged Republicans to remain united.
The America First policies in this bill are the reason why Republicans currently have the majority in Congress right now. Passing this bill is what voters sent Republicans to Washington to accomplish. And that's why it's essential that every Republican in the House and the Senate unites behind President Trump and passes this popular and essential legislative package.
The bill now heads to the House Rules Committee with an expected vote next week. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's confident he can resolve concerns from hardliners who want to see an even leaner budget. Also in our nation's capital, President Trump says his 2-hour phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin discussing an end to the conflict in Ukraine went very well. In a social media post, he said the two sides will immediately start negotiations toward a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war. Putin also commented after the call saying Russia wants to achieve a peaceful settlement and that the Russian position is to eliminate root causes of crisis.
And I think some progress has been made. It's a terrible situation going on over there. 5,000 young people every single week are being killed. So hopefully we do something.
The phone call follows failed talks between negotiators for both countries this weekend in Turkey. In his social media post, President Trump said he informed Zelensky and NATO leaders of his call with Putin. He also stressed how both countries will benefit from trade deals if and when the war ends. Support is pouring in across party lines for former President Joe Biden, who revealed this weekend he's battling prostate cancer. His family says they're now reviewing treatment options. Natalie Brand has more details and reaction from the White House.
Former President Biden posted on social media a picture of himself and the former First Lady, writing, "Cancer touches us all. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." Biden's personal office released a statement Sunday saying the 82-year-old had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to the bone. Doctors evaluated Mr. Biden following the discovery of a small nodule in his prostate after he was seen for increased urinary symptoms. President Trump, in a post, said he extends his best wishes to the Biden family and wishes him a fast and successful recovery.
We wish the best for the former president's health. And, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery.
For former President Biden, cancer research and finding a cure was a personal mission. He launched a national cancer moonshot initiative inspired in large part by his late son, Beau, who died of brain cancer.
We can end cancer as we know it. This is a presidential White House priority.
Biden first started the moonshot work while serving as former President Barack Obama's vice president. Mr. Obama, in a statement, said nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe. Biden's former vice president, Kamala Harris, called him a fighter. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Officials have identified the man they say detonated a car bomb outside a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California over the weekend. Investigators believe 25-year-old Guy Edward Bartkus was killed in the blast outside the American Reproductive Centers Saturday. Authorities are calling it an act of terrorism that gutted the clinic's offices but spared its lab. According to sources familiar with the investigation, the suspect stated in writings or recordings that he was against bringing people into the world against their will. Investigators say the suspect was attempting to live stream the attack and was not on the FBI's radar. Today, federal investigators updated the public on the aftermath of Saturday's deadly crash of a tall Mexican Navy ship into the Brooklyn Bridge. Officials from the National Transportation Safety Board are spending their first full day at the scene of the crash that killed 2 crew members when the ship hit the iconic New York Bridge. They expect to issue a preliminary report within 30 days, while saying investigations normally take up to 2 years. The impact of the collision snapped the ship's masts. Crew members working on the sails were thrown into the air. 19 were injured. It happened right after the ship left its pier. The vessel was supposed to head out to sea, but drifted the wrong way. Coming up, millions across the country are bracing for even more severe weather after dozens of people were killed over the weekend following massive storms.
13 first alert weather, but everybody's in this red flag warning for today. Tomorrow, Cochise County will be in this. This is why we first alert.
Okay, we're taking a brief commercial break of 13 News Live at 4. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button this time, hit the share button, hit the like button on Wowzer's online church and videos channel. We're having a comedy premiere, video premiering at 6:30 p.m. tonight, MST, Tucson time, Arizona time tonight here. So please make sure to join that premiere tonight here. And it's a SML Mario Witch premiere tonight here. Please make sure to join that premiere at 6:30 p.m. tonight here. MST Tucson time, Arizona time here. And we'll be right after. It'll be premiering during the 13 News Live at 6 p.m. newscast here. So if you want to join that premiere, you can, or watch the newscast watching here. You guys can. So just let you guys know about that. So yeah, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, and so yeah. And I'll be there 13 News 4 p.m. newscast tomorrow here. We'll have on this channel here tomorrow here to 7 p.m. tomorrow here. So yeah, so please make sure to subscribe to Wowzer's online church YouTube channel here, and for newscasts, church services, videos, stuff like that, and much more things are coming to my channel here. So please make sure to share my YouTube channel here, hit the share button here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button here, so I won't miss the content on this channel here. So yeah, we'll be back on 13 News 4 p.m. news guys here after this commercial break here. So yeah. So while we wait, I'm gonna put some gospel music on for you guys here. Just during the commercial breaks for you guys. Then come back on, I will pause it. Give Me Jesus is the song we're listening to right now. Then as soon as she comes back, I'll pause it and then I'll take off mute. It's coming back on now.
Plumbing, sewer, and drain.
Welcome back to 13 News. Across much of the country, communities are dealing with a relentless stretch of severe weather. At least 28 people have been killed since Friday, and more strong storms are expected today. Patrick Cornell reports.
A rainbow hanging over the site of semi-trucks tossed off Interstate 70 in Grinnell, Kansas. That community and others nearby receiving extensive damage from tornadoes on Sunday, according to the National Weather Service.
I got damage to my roof, or the chimney on the other side's gone. I still got bricks on the roof.
For you guys, comments on my iPad.
Stuff came through the windows and I guess flew around inside the house.
Ferocious storms have torn through hundreds of miles of the U.S. for 5 straight days, generating about 100 tornado reports.
Wow.
Including this one near Bend, Colorado over the weekend. The sheriff's office reporting only structural damage. An EF3 rocking St. Louis Friday, killing at least 5 and damaging or destroying thousands of buildings. No place suffering more loss than Laurel County, Kentucky, where at least 17 people died.
Right now, in Laurel County, we just need prayers.
That community still surveying the destruction and helping neighbors get back on their feet.
We're out here to help each other. You know, we all need to stand together.
The threat far from over. Monday evening into the night, tens of millions of people in the path of severe weather, all the way into the southeast with 17 million in the plains and Mississippi Valley at the greatest risk of seeing strong tornadoes. I'm Patrick Cornell reporting.
13 for 0 right
Now,
after
13
day.
First Alert forecaster
And
Alex
Potter.
joins us live outside on the 13 News
He's
Plaza.
Potter.
Some terrible weather across the
Yes.
country. We have a bit of a different issue
You
here
do,
today,
yes.
and it can be severe as well.
Well,
Yes, it can, but it's been
Yes.
those moments that you're just thankful that you live in
Yes.
southern Arizona, right?
Yes.
Some wind speeds a little bit here and there in
Yes.
the heat, but thankfully we are doing okay.
Hey,
We do have
yes.
those 2 fires, though, that are currently
Yes.
burning. I'll tell you how they're affected coming up in just a second. First, let's head up, shall we? Here's a live look from the Tucson Mountains. Not a cloud in sight.
Nope.
Dealing with a red flag warning today, which is bringing us those gusty winds. Let's time it out, shall we? Here is around right before our 3 o'clock show started, 28 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour for Casa Grande, San Manuel, 33 in Sierra Vista, Nogales, 25. Marana, 29 miles per hour. Our current fire danger is elevated. That's for portions of that red flag warning. So we're talking east of Pima County, or East Pima County, really. Parts of Green Valley, Nogales, Cochise County. And if you look over to our friends in New Mexico, they're dealing with critical levels. That red flag warning is still in effect through 8 o'clock tonight. Gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Dealing with very dry air. Humidity levels, even in the single digits. We're not dealing with much moisture whatsoever. Some rain would be nice, right? Unfortunately, we're not tracking that. We are tracking wind speeds, though, today. 43 miles per hour for Safford. We're seeing it calm down just a little bit, though, around 5 o'clock. 38 miles per hour for Safford. 30 in Wilcox. 25 for Tucson. 30 for our friends up north. And we will start to see those single digits, but we have to wait until around 11 o'clock tonight. We are feeling the heat already. 4 degrees warmer now than we were just 24 hours ago in Tucson. 3 for Nogales, 4 in Sassabee, 1 degree warmer in Douglas, 3 degrees warmer in Safford. Temperature-wise, we are still in the 80s. It's going to be the coolest of the week. 88 degrees right now, 79 in Sierra Vista, 82 in Nogales, 88 in Marana, 85 for Safford, 83 if you are down in Douglas. Take a look at this. Our new normal is now at 93. The 90s make a comeback starting tomorrow, 99 on Wednesday, triple digits on the board Thursday and Friday. Tonight, not too bad. We will see those gusty winds, though, but overall, the 80s eventually seeing the 70s by 9 o'clock. That ridge of high pressure is why we're seeing those triple digits back in the forecast. And then eventually we will start to cool on down next week. Again, dry conditions prevail, and so does the heat. The 90s for the next couple of days, triple digits Thursday, Friday. The good news is, Brooke, is that these triple digits are not going to be hanging out with us too long.
No.
We'll let them stay for a couple of days, and then we'll start to cool on down by the weekend. So that's some good news.
I mean, that's for this time of year. I think that's about all.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
We're just
you
gonna
do.
let the triple digits visit, and then they gotta go.
Yeah, go. Yes. Come back later, yes. They die. Use Plaza. There's their pools. Coming up.
Coming up, home building stalled last month with starts and permits dropping for single-family homes in what could be seen as a downward trend for the U.S. economy.
In Tucson, patients and providers are nervous as immigration enforcement expands to hospitals.
13 News This Morning, weekdays 4:30 to 7 a.m.
This First Alert forecast is sponsored by D&H Air Conditioning. If you have a cooling problem, call someone you can trust. D&H Air Conditioning, service so great you'll wish we fixed everything.
I first want to give you a look at that storm system.
Then the promos are we on mute and without commercials are on mute.
The storm systems are now moving east, so take a birdie. It's your turn. Tucson already seeing that rain. Might have seen some a little bit ago in Marana, but that storm system moving through the region.
Here's the wind pop we're talking about. Yes, wind advisory over the entire region.
You can see a number of storm systems on our First Alert future radar moving through the west.
Okay, so during this time again, I'll repeat after I go come out and repeat my YouTube name. I'll play the Christian music. So during this time, please make sure hit the subscribe button here, hit the notification bell on here, hit the share button here, and we do have that SML on Mars Witch premiere appearance tonight at 6:30 p.m. during the 13 News 6 p.m. newscast tonight. If you want to watch that, you guys can, or you guys can watch the 6 p.m. newscast. 6 p.m. 13 News newscast live on my YouTube channel here tonight here. And so yeah, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel here for more news content, news live content here, more comedy content here, more Bible study content here, and much more to come here. And I'm gonna give out some more Christian music here before the news comes back from commercial break here. Here we go.
U.S. home builders pulled back on projects in April, according to new data from the U.S. Census Bureau and the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Single-family home starts dropped 12% in April compared to 1 year ago. Housing starts measure the number of new residential construction projects that have actually started. They're often seen as a key indicator of the overall health of the U.S. economy. Single-family permits issued for new construction also fell just over 5% from March. That's down 6.2% compared to April of last year. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals has agreed to buy bankrupt genetic testing firm 23andMe. The $256 million deal gives the drug maker control of the genetic data of millions of people. Regeneron said all of 23andMe's consumer genome services will continue without interruption. 23andMe collected genetic data from 15 million people who sent in saliva samples and DNA testing kits. Regeneron said it will prioritize the privacy, security, and ethical use of 23andMe's customer data, and we'll keep an eye on that for you as it develops. What's in Capital One's wallet? $425 million fewer dollars. That's the amount the bank holding company has agreed to pay in a multi-state settlement with depositors. They said they were falsely promised increased interest rates on 360 savings accounts. The suit claimed that account had a fixed rate of 0.3%, while a different higher yield account with better rates was not adequately advertised. $300 million of the settlement will go to the depositors to make up the difference in lost interest compared to the higher yield account. The rest of the money will go to depositors with currently open 360 savings accounts. Capital One admits no wrongdoing in the settlement. Coming up with graduation season here, we'll look at the job market options for new graduates, including secondary education opportunities in southern Arizona. Plus, businesses are stockpiling supplies following a brief trade war pause with China. Flooding recently barren ports with products.
Every day at 5, 13 News is where Southern Arizona turns for what's happening right now.
And what's happening next?
13 News at 5.
Okay, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel here. Hit the subscribe button here. Hit the notification bell on here. Share it. Like it. If you want to join the premiere at 6:30 p.m. tonight here, MST Central Time, Arizona time for the Mars Rich SML premiere tonight here. During the 6 p.m. to the newscast, you can hear, or you can just stay on this live stream for the 6 p.m. newscast here on my YouTube channel. You guys can. There's two options here. Now we're going to go back to the Christian music before 13 News on 4:30 starts here. Go. Jesus. Breaking. 13 News starts right now. First Shore Action Day.
Welcome back to 13 News Live at 4. We
Yes.
begin this half hour with a live look outside from Mount Bigelow. We are under a first alert action day for a red flag warning. Kind of see a little layer of haze there. It has been very windy. 13 First Alert forecaster Allie Potter joins us live outside on the 13 News Plaza. It seems, just looking at you now, like it may have died down here at least brief.
Yes. So, Brooke, that red flag warning is for eastern Pima County, Santa Cruz, and Cochise County, but we're seeing a little bit of that breeze, but nothing like other parts of southern Arizona. Southern Arizona is enduring today. Let's check in with that red flag warning to show you exactly a little bit more specific. Gusts up to 45 miles per hour. This is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. We're dealing with dry conditions and strong gusty winds. And as you know, we have 2 wildfires currently burning. So this literally is adding fuel to those wildfires. Folks, please do your part. Any type of spark can turn into a wildfire, unfortunately. Watch those tow chains. Make sure they're not dragging on the ground. Don't park in high grass, and dispose of those cigarettes and matches properly, please. We're going to see those gusty winds hanging out even around 5 o'clock. 38 miles per hour for Stafford, 25 in Tucson, 29 in Sierra Vista, the 30 range for our friends over in Douglas and Bisbee, Wilcox. Here's just around 7 o'clock tonight. We will start to see a little bit of relief though, but not until around 11 o'clock this evening. Temperature-wise, 88. So nice when it comes to our temps. But Brooke, don't get used to them. Today is the coolest day of the week. We are tracking triple digits.
But it's not too bad, and I like that. I like that, Alice. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Happening tonight, another round of graduations across southern Arizona, so good weather for that. You can see the times for the high schools celebrating the big milestone for students on your screen right now. They include Ace Charter and Youth Work, Sentinel Peak, Pantano, and Canyon Del Oro. High school ceremonies for Tucson Unified School District start on Wednesday. For high school graduates, the next few days mark the beginning of the rest of their lives. But what that looks like depends on what they choose to do for work. 13 News reporter J.D. Wallace is live at the Pima Community College downtown campus with opportunities that have remained reliable. J.D.?
Well, Brooke, whether or not they're pursuing a 4-year degree for one reason or another, there are still many lines of work from car mechanic to construction that still offer plenty of opportunity. Cienega High School in the Vail School District puts construction students to the test by spending the school year building a 400 square foot tiny home. On average, 15 to 20 students graduate from the program each year. Many of the students were not raised around home construction or welding or similar hands-on skills. They learned it here, and their instructor, who's been teaching this for decades, says interest really picked up after the pandemic, and from what he can tell, graduates are finding work.
Is there the work for them? Every student that I know of that wants to work is working. That's, in this field, if that's what they want to do.
You have to have people. If you don't have people, it's not going to work. You have to have communication, teamwork. Construction is a very huge thing, and without it, none of our cities, houses, homes, anything such as that would be around.
And that program is funded in part by JTED, the district that also funds, helps educate students in a variety of career fields, from construction to even healthcare. Now, coming up on 13 News live at 6, we're here at Pima Community College because we're also going to be talking about those that have already graduated high school, but they still want to pursue a career and they want to start making money in that career field as soon as possible. Reporting live from downtown, J.D. Wallace, 13 News.
Interesting opportunities, JD. Thank you. In Pima County, well, the official start to summer is a month away. The summer heat is definitely here now. Thankfully, you'll soon have a few options to cool off around the county. The county's pools open for the summer season this Saturday, May 24th. The county operates 9 pools and 2 splash pads around southern Arizona. Each pool and splash pad has its own hours of operation. The cost of admission for children under 17 years old is $1, $3 for anyone over 18. You can find more information on the county's website, pima.gov/pools. President Trump signed into law a new measure that prohibits the posting of non-consensual intimate images, both authentic and AI-generated, online. First Lady Melania Trump joined the president in the Rose Garden, where he signed the bill known as the Takedown Act. It's a measure she strongly supports through her Be Best initiative, saying it will protect the country's young people. The law makes it a federal crime to post real and fake sexually explicit imagery online without the subject's consent. Those convicted could face up to 3 years in prison, along with civil penalties for platforms that refuse to take down images promptly.
We will not tolerate online sexual exploitation, and especially it's gone on at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's getting worse and worse, and I think this is going to hopefully stop it.
Today, through the Take It Down Act, we affirm that the well-being of our children is central to our future of our families in America.
The legislation received near unanimous support in Congress. Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, along with TikTok and Snapchat, all support it. But digital rights groups warn the new law could lead to the suppression of free speech, including legitimate pornography, and does not contain protections against bad faith takedown requests. The manhunt continues for inmates who escaped from a New Orleans prison early Friday morning. 3 of the 10 men were captured later that day, but 7 are still on the run and are all considered dangerous. The inmates broke out by removing a toilet and left taunting parting messages, including "too easy, LOL." Security footage shows them exiting at a loading dock and using a blanket to jump the barbed wire fence. It was 7 hours before anyone noticed they were gone. Officials believe they may now be evading capture with the help of family and friends.
We're confident this time that we have actionable intelligence on all 7 of those fugitives. And we hope in the coming days, if not the coming hours, that we have them all apprehended. But we need the public's help.
The FBI, Crime Stoppers, and the ATF are offering rewards of $17,000 for each inmate. The governor signed an executive order directing an investigation into the escape and ordered an audit of the jail. 3 prison guards have been suspended. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Pope Leo today. The U.S. leaders met the new leader of the Catholic Church at the Vatican. Ahead of the trip, Rubio said he would discuss the Ukraine-Russia war with the Pope. Pope Leo is the first ever American pontiff and led his inaugural mass on Sunday. Delegates from all over the world attended, including Vance, the second lady, Yusha Vance, and Rubio. And now Valerie Cavazos joins us with a look at what we're covering for 13 News Live at 5 and 6 tonight. Hi.
Well, hello. Here's what we have coming up at 5. Prostate cancer is in the spotlight after former President Biden has been diagnosed with it. And we're taking a closer look into how it's affecting the health of people here in Arizona and what can be done about it. Then at 6, a critical tool in place for years will finally start sending out potentially life-saving weather information for southern Arizona. Or will it? 13 News investigates how this radar system is still not working as intended. And that's all ahead of 13 News. Hope to see you at 5.
Bye.
Thanks, Valerie. Ports across the country are facing a dramatic slowdown in cargo, but they could see the exact opposite in a matter of weeks. As of last Wednesday, cargo leaving China bound for the U.S. will now carry a drastically lower tariff rate compared to the 145% tariff that was in place for 6 weeks. Ivan Rodriguez joins us live with more on the potential impact. Ivan?
Look, it was a dramatic de-escalation in the brewing trade war between the United States and China. Now experts say retailers will likely front-load more cargo during the pause and work against the clock to bring in inventory before things change again.
A little over a week ago, the Port of Seattle had 0 ships docked, but things are already looking different.
Looking out over the day right now, we have about 4 container ships in. We've got a grain vessel at anchor right now, and so we're pretty busy right now.
For the next 90 days, cargo leaving China and entering the U.S. will carry a 30% tariff rate instead of the previous 145% tariff. Ryan Calkins, Commission Vice President for the Port of Seattle, predicts retailers are going to take advantage of the lower tariff, which means U.S. ports are likely to get busier.
We anticipate that by midsummer that we're going to see a surge. We're going to need to staff up significantly.
Retailers made a similar move before the first wave of tariffs took effect in April, stockpiling imports in March.
We've seen in our business roughly a 30 to 40% decrease in volumes coming out of China into the US. A large part of that, if not the entirety, is a result of most shippers pressing the pause button. The expectation is that the pent-up supply will now make its way back into the supply chain and hence back into our organization.
Calkins says the whipsaw environment is anything but ideal for business.
We really prefer to have really steady, certain trade relations so that we can manage more optimally. This is not a great scenario for us.
Even though we are talking about a significantly lower tariff rate, Calkins says 30% is still very high and that those taxes will need to be passed on to the consumer in some way. Brooke?
Ivan, the potential future surge, though, doesn't change the declines at U.S. ports right now. So what are you seeing in terms of how busy they've been this month?
Well, in May, the Port of Los Angeles reported a 25% drop in cargo. Long Beach saw a 30 to 40% decline to start the month. Seattle and Tacoma are reporting an 8 to 15% decline compared to what they usually see. And as we've heard from experts, this whipsaw environment isn't ideal for port operations.
It's interesting to watch the prices. Ivan, thank you. Coming up, a new survey looks at how much Americans plan on reducing their debt this year. We'll hear from a financial expert about why you don't just want to make a minimum payment.
The 13th First Alert Weather Team.
Preparing you with an accurate First Alert forecast.
13th First Alert Weather. Always live, local, late breaking. Downtown's biggest stories are live on 13 News.
Tucson Now checks in with Eagle Eye.
Okay, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel here, hit the share button here, the like button here, and make sure to notification bell on here. If you guys want to join my YouTube premiere, SML YouTube premiere, Molly's Rich, you guys can do this during the news, 6 newscast here, or if you want to stay on this watching me at 6 p.m., you guys can. And, so yeah, now we're going to go back to some Christmas music here. To the news, 4:30 comes back on here. Here we go.
According to a new NerdWallet survey, 14% of Americans plan to pay less on their debt over the next year. In this Watching Your Wallet, 13 News reporter Rachel DePompa finds out why paying the minimum may not be the best plan.
20% of Americans tell NerdWallet they fear they simply won't be able to afford their debt payments because of all the economic uncertainty. Another 14% plan to only pay the minimum on loans. Sarah Raffner, a credit card expert with NerdWallet, says with payments like mortgages and auto loans, that's pretty typical behavior. But she says when it comes to your credit card debt, making just the minimum payment can keep you in expensive debt for a longer period of time.
And that's simply because credit card debt is so high and you're allowed to continue spending on your credit card even if you have debt. So you're adding to the pile while you're trying to subtract from the pile. And of course, if you're going through a period of financial hardship, you lost your job, making the minimum payments is a way to keep your account current and help preserve your credit score.
But Rathner says once things stabilize for you and you start to be in a better situation, try to budget more money into your credit card payments so you don't keep yourself trapped in this cycle of debt. And she says it's pretty normal for people to tighten their belts when times are uncertain, but that's what your emergency savings is also for.
I mean, I just had to take my car to the shop and unexpectedly needed to replace 2 tires that weren't going to pass state inspection. And so just like that, I was out over $600 over the course of the total number of repairs that needed to be done to my car.
She says it is not easy to save up 3 to 6 months of expenses for a lot of people. So even if you just make it a goal to set aside $500 or $1,000 for an emergency, that can always help.
Rachel DePompa, 13 News.
Makes sense. And now 13 News solar forecaster Allie Potter joins us live outside on the 13 News Plaza. You're looking wild out there, Allie.
Yeah, thank you very much. And my hair's a little bit on the wild side as well. We're dealing with those gusty winds, Brooke. And the good news is those wind speeds will start to die down a little bit later on today. But we're tracking our next weather maker, believe it or not. We'll chat about that in a second. Here's a live look from our station tower camera. In Marana, not a cloud in sight. Those gusty winds, have you guys felt it today? Pretty sure you have. 28 miles per hour for Tucson, 30 in San Manuel, 33 for Sierra Vista, 25 in Nogales, 29 if you're hanging out in Marana. So we do have elevated levels when it comes to our fire danger for Cochise County, Santa Cruz County, Eastern Pima County. This is going to continue for the rest of the day because we have this red flag warning that is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. We're dealing with those strong gusty winds, dry conditions, and hardly any moisture. So it literally adds fuel to those wildfires, and any type of spark can actually turn into a wildfire. So please be careful out there. Watch those tow chains. And if you're a smoker, make sure you dispose of those cigarettes properly, please. 43 miles per hour for Stafford. Around 5 o'clock, we'll see that 30-mile-per-hour range back in play. 25 miles per hour for Tucson, 24 in Green Valley. Here's around 7 o'clock at night, around that 30-mile-per-hour range at Sierra Vista, Bisbee, Douglas, Wilcox, Benson. Not much relief until about 11 o'clock this evening when we're seeing single digits. A little bit of relief from the heat today, not so much the case later on this week. So enjoy this nice little warm-up that we have. 4 degrees warmer now than we were just 24 hours ago in Tucson, 3 for Nogales, 4 in Sassafras, 5 for San Manuel. Current temps set 88 in Tucson, 79 Sierra Vista, 82 for Nogales, 88 in Marana, 85 for Stafford, 83 in Douglas. Our normal is now 93 degrees. We will see the 90s Tuesday and Wednesday, but triple digits are making a comeback Thursday and Friday. So enjoy our nice overnights aren't too bad, right? Some gusty winds to close out the evening, around 83 degrees by 7, by 9 o'clock, 76. It's all because of this high pressure. That's why we're seeing these above normal temperatures and temps back in the triple digits. No rain in sight, unfortunately. So enjoy our overnights as they start to warm up. Definitely feeling like Tucson. That's the beauty though, right folks? We can enjoy those overnights. 99 degrees on Wednesday, 103 by Thursday, 102 on Friday. The good news is we will start to cool on down later on by the weekend. So it's just something I feel like mentally, Brooke, that you see, triple digits, and then you start to see 97 or even 98, and you're going, we got this, that's fine.
Right. Because it's popping up and then popping back down. It's not a permanent thing just yet.
Not yet.
No.
Yet is the key, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, those 3 little letters.
Right.
Talk to you soon, Allie.
Very soon, yes.
The 13
News
News Plaza,
Plaza.
sponsored by Southern
Very
Arizona
good.
Police.
Coming Coming up, how people are taking a childhood pastime and just blowing it up to epic proportions.
13 News is 7.
If you've been to the beach, you know, you've probably tried building a sandcastle, right?
Yes.
Did it look like this? Mine didn't. Check it out.
Wow.
Across the pond, people are taking sand sculpting to another level in this annual event. Artists from the U.S. and around the world are taking the childhood pastime to extraordinary heights at a sand sculpture festival in Denmark. This year's theme was Showtime, with Miss Piggy making her debut alongside silent film legend Charlie Chaplin.
People are really testing the limits of sand. They're testing its capabilities, the texture, the strength of it. People are pushing those boundaries and using sand to tell different stories and to make political messages.
It's such an amazing medium. It's just too bad that it's not permanent. Now in its 14th season, the festival's jaw-dropping displays have put the tiny seaside town of Hundstead on the map, drawing tens of thousands of wide-eyed visitors there. That's very cool. A comic book has some people avoiding Japan this year. It's called The Future I Saw. It was published in 1999 99 by manga artist Ryo Tatsuki. The book predicted a major disaster would strike Japan in March of 2011, and a major earthquake did strike the northern Tohoku region that month. A new version of the comic book from 2021 predicts another major earthquake would happen in July of this year. And now many travelers are deciding against a trip to the country.
Wow.
A Hong Kong travel agency says bookings to Japan fell by half over Easter and are expected to further fall in the weeks ahead. Seems many visitors opted for a winter trip anyway, with the Japan National Tourism Organization reporting a record-breaking 10.5 million visitors during the first quarter of the year. Coming up, we'll tell you a new way to get to Sesame Street as the beloved children's show changes their streaming location.
Sure.
13 News This Morning.
Stage 2 fire restrictions are in place on federal, state, and even some tribal land.
13 News This Morning. Weekdays 4:30 to 7 a.m. At Green.
There will soon be a new way
Right.
to get to Sesame
Sesame
Street
Street.
through Netflix.
Right.
That's after the show's producer, Sesame Workshop, reached a deal
That's
with
right.
the streamer. The move comes after Warner Brothers Discovery decided not to renew a 5-year deal for the show for its streaming service Max. The Netflix deal calls for new episodes with Big Bird, Cookie Monster, and the whole gang to debut on PBS stations and on the PBS Kids app for their new address on the same day they're released on Netflix. Old Sesame Street episodes will still be available on HBO Max through 2027. And in addition to the new season, Netflix is getting the rights to 90 hours of previous episodes. Valerie's here with what we're covering at 5. Did you watch Sesame Street? Did your kids watch Sesame Street?
Absolutely. And
Me
I
too.
was so happy when they introduced Elmo. He
Me
is my
too.
favorite.
Mine too.
Oh, so sweet and cuddly.
Yes. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, folks.
Verify former President Biden has it, and so do thousands of Arizonans. What we're learning about prostate cancer in our state as a high-profile diagnosis puts it back into the spotlight. And firefighters are battling both flames and the wind. How they're doing against a fire still out of control in eastern Arizona.
Every day at 5, 13 News is where Southern Arizona turns for what's happening right now.
And what's happening next?
13 News at 5.
Bye.
Live.
Live, local, breaking. 13 News starts right now with the First Order Action Day.
A red flag warning is raising the wildfire danger in southeastern Arizona. You're looking live through our camera in Tombstone, one of the places under that warning as we track gusty winds and dry conditions. Thanks for joining us. I'm Valerie Cavazos. Let's get right over to 13 First Order tracking all of this for us.
Certainly feeling the strongest winds to the east of the Tucson area, so that is where that red flag warning stands, although we've still had some gusts close to 30 miles per hour even in and around the Tucson metro area. Those wind gusts as we head through the remainder of the evening staying close to 30 to 40 miles per hour from Nogales all the way into Sierra Vista, Bisbee, Douglas, to the north into Wilcox and Safford through 6 o'clock. We start to see eventually, once that sun sets, some of the wind tapering off to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But that red flag warning does march on all the way through 8 o'clock. We'll have to wait until then for some of those winds to drop off. But we do know that almost the eastern third of Arizona is still under an elevated risk for wildfires, meaning if a fire were to start, it could perhaps be controlled fairly easily if crews can get to it quickly. But we know our crews are pretty stretched thin right now. So we need to use extreme caution with anything that can spark a fire. Of course, dispose of cigarettes properly, any sort of fire. Know those restrictions before you head out somewhere, and make sure you're checking those tow chains. We are going to be heating up big time this week. Firefighters will be contending with that coming up.
High winds don't undo their work on the Greer fire. It's now at least 1/3 contained. Evacuation orders remain in place around Greer and Eager areas. The fire has grown to more than 20,000 acres, but incident commanders say fire lines are holding. They've completed a burnout operation on the southern edge, and they're now focusing on securing the lines and putting out hotspots. Tucson police investigators are looking into a deadly crash near Reed Park. It happened this morning on Country Club, just north of 22nd Street. The road is back open now after being closed for most of the day. Investigators have been at the scene for several hours. They're still in the early phases, but a 13 News photographer found a wrecked car at the scene. We have no word from police yet on who was killed or if there were any other injuries. And we'll continue to monitor the story and update you on air and online. Now to the latest on former President Joe Biden. He's thanking people for their well wishes after being diagnosed with prostate cancer. He posted on social media today, quote, "Cancer touches us all. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." Yesterday, his personal office reported he was diagnosed with prostate cancer on Friday, and it had spread to the bone. Biden and his family are reviewing treatment options. His office says the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, allowing for effective management. Prostate cancer is common in men. Here in Arizona, it's the third most common cancer diagnosis. 13 News reporter Catherine Patterson joins us live near the Tucson Medical Center after looking at the numbers here in southern Arizona. Catherine, how serious is prostate cancer here?
Well, Valerie, a recent study revealed that about 1 in 8 men will get a prostate cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. So one organization in southern Arizona is hoping to encourage more of those men to walk through the hospital doors and get treatment. Right across the way from Tucson Medical Center, Wendy Capullo spends her days helping cancer patients with the hard work of getting treatment.
3 weeks in head coverings. We offer bras and prosthesis. We offer integrative therapies.
She's seen her fair share of the second deadliest cancer in men, prostate cancer. But to get men in Arizona to receive that help is its own challenge.
They're kind of the protector of the family. They were the dad, they were the husband, they were the grandpa, they are everything. And for them to need something from anybody else is very, very difficult for them.
The Arizona Department of Health Services says a healthy diet, physical exercise, and a conversation with your doctor about your family's history with cancer is going to be the best way to reduce your risk of prostate cancer. All steps that may require some help.
You don't know what to eat, and sometimes you don't even have an appetite. So to be able to talk to somebody who can say to you, this is what you're going to eat, it's going to give you the most bang for your buck and keep you as healthy as possible.
To get those patients to an even stronger place.
And I had one patient who had prostate cancer, and he said, being able to come here just for the massage therapy, the relaxation, makes me a better husband and a better father. And that's huge. That is huge for anybody.
Now, there are resources and information available around Southern Arizona for prostate cancer that you can find over on our website at KOLD.com. Reporting live from Tucson, Catherine Patterson, 13 News.
In immigration action, the Trump administration can remove legal protections from 350,000 Venezuelans in the country. Today, the Supreme Court overruled a federal judge who preserved their temporary protected status. It's set to expire next week, making them subject to deportation. The status allows people already in the U.S. to live and work legally if their native countries are deemed unsafe for return. Ceasefire talks between Russia and Ukraine are starting immediately. That's what President Trump said today after making calls to leaders of both countries. He said he had an excellent call with Russian President Vladimir Putin that lasted more than 2 hours. Trump also spoke with Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky.
And I think some progress has been made. It's a terrible situation going on over there. 5,000 young people every single week are being killed. So hopefully we do something.
President Trump has been frustrated at the pace of ceasefire negotiations. Russian and Ukrainian officials met in Turkey last week. This was the direct negotiation in more than 2 years. Sharing sexually explicit deep fake pictures is now a crime. This is now under a new law signed by President Trump this afternoon. The Take It Down Act had wide support from both parties. It refers to images where a person's face is digitally placed on someone else's nude body, often through the use of AI. Now, the new law requires tech platforms to remove such images within 48 hours of being notified about them. It extends laws already on the books that protects kids from fake explicit pictures posted online. We're staying on top of the bombing of a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California. Investigators are going through the suspect's writing, looking for more clues. They say Guy Edward Marcus died in the attack on the American Reproductive Centers building on Saturday. 4 others were hurt. Authorities are calling the attack terrorism, and they want to see if there might be other suspects.
I'm very confident that the suspect acted alone at the scene of the blast. However, we want to make sure that through social media that others did not help him in any way.
Investigators say the suspect left behind writing that seemed to indicate anti-natalist views, which hold that people should not continue to procreate. Happening tomorrow, both Tucson and Pima County leaders are talking about their spending plans. The City Council and Board of Supervisors are set to approve tentative budget agreements during their regular meetings. Final approvals could come next month. The Pima County's budget could include a property tax hike to help fund affordable housing. Tomorrow, supervisors could approve a 3 cents for affordable housing proposal backed by Matt Hines. It would increase property taxes 3 cents every year over the next decade to build or preserve more than 12,000 affordable housing units. Several route changes could be coming to Suntran buses. Tucson city leaders will hold a public hearing about them during tomorrow night's regular meeting and then vote. The SunTrans says it regularly makes changes to keep up as ridership patterns change. If the council approves, the new routes will take effect in August. As you make your Memorial Day weekend plans, state transportation workers are making a little easier for you. They say there won't be any maintenance closures on state highways from Friday through Monday night, but you still want to factor in extra time on the roads, especially on Friday and next Monday afternoon when people are heading out and coming back. And AAA is expecting a record number of travelers this weekend. More than 45 million people will journey at least 50 miles from home. And gas prices are holding steady in Tucson, even though they've been going up elsewhere. AAA says Arizona's statewide average has jumped 10 cents since last Monday to $3.39 a gallon, while prices in Tucson are down about a penny at $3.06. That's about a dime a gallon lower than the national average. Coming up, lawmen on both sides of the border come together, how they're cracking down on cartel operations. Plus, extreme weather doesn't let up in the Midwest. Where it's hitting, even as some people clean up.
13 first alert weather, but everybody's in this red flag warning for today. Tomorrow, Cochise County will be missed. This is why we first alert.
This newscast is sponsored by Arizona Pest Control.
When I got in an accident fresh.
So this is what I'm gonna do, you guys. So at 5:30, I'm not gonna watch the 5:30 newscast or the 6 o'clock newscast, you guys. So at 5:30, we're gonna end it tonight here. Then tomorrow we'll probably end it at 6 o'clock newscast tonight here. So we'll vary with each newscast here. So today we're in at 5:30, tomorrow we're in at 6 o'clock here, and sometimes we'll go till 6 or 7 here. I just want you guys know about that. So make sure to tune in to my SML Mars Rich premiere at 6:30 p.m. tonight here. And so yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button on my YouTube channel here, hit the like button here, and so yeah, nobody got someone wishing me until the news 5 comes back on here. Here we go.
Welcome back. Tucson Fire made a rescue today at Desert View High School. A maintenance worker was working on some lights when the bucket on his truck got stuck and he couldn't lower it. The crews got a ladder up to him and got him down safely. Nobody was hurt. Authorities on both sides of the border team up to fight drug cartels. So we're getting these pictures from the Border Patrol. Last weekend, units from Douglas and Sassabee worked with Mexican officials to destroy scout sites for smugglers. They were located south of the border near Sassabee and Douglas. Authorities didn't find any smugglers, but they did find gear and supplies. We go to New York City now. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a Mexican naval ship to crash into the Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 crew members. The tall ship was on a goodwill tour when it hit the bridge Saturday night. A senior official says the captain told investigators he lost steering after the rudder stopped working. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has shared her condolences with the families of those killed. She says Mexican authorities will conduct their own investigation. U.S. National Transportation Safety Board investigators are in New York, where the ship's data recorder is expected to reveal crucial information.
We will be looking into 3 main areas while we're on scene. First being the crew and the operation of the crew, the vessel and the condition of the vessel, and finally the environment, and that includes the weather.
The bridge is back open after a temporary closure. Another communications glitch has popped up at Air Traffic Control Center serving Newark International Airport. The FAA says a control facility in Philadelphia lost radio communications for about 2 seconds this morning, but it didn't have any effect on aircraft. The FAA has been working to upgrade the facility to fix problems over the past month. These issues have led to flight delays and cancellations. The FAA is investigating what went wrong. More severe weather is hitting the Midwest after deadly storms over the weekend. At least 28 people have died since the first wave of storms moved in Friday. About 100 reports of tornadoes have come in, including yesterday in Kansas. Some of them hit at night.
I got damage to my roof, or chimney on the other side's gone. I still got bricks on the roof. Stuff came through the windows and I guess flew around inside the house.
Colorado and Missouri also saw extreme weather. People in the St. Louis area are beginning to clean up after a twister killed 5 people and damaged thousands of buildings. And in Kentucky, at least 17 died from a tornado. Authorities are warning people not to hike in the heat after a man died while trying to hike the Grand Canyon from the south to North Rim. The National Park Service says visitors found a 74-year-old man passed out along a trail and nobody was able to revive him. He was from Washington State and he was an experienced hiker. And we're getting back to heat territory this week. 13% Chief
We're all just there in Christian.
Now we're on a bit of a roller coaster ride, but not too drastic.
No, but we are definitely going to warm up. In fact, we're looking at the longest triple-digit stretch we've had so far this year, at least for the Tucson area. So we want to be the first to alert you that this warming trend is on the way. We'll warm to 94 as early as tomorrow, then 99 Wednesday, if not 100. We will certainly be there by Thursday. 103 is what we're looking at. And then you add to that some southwesterly wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. And that's not exactly a ton of fun. Over the next 3 days, this is what you can expect. If you're headed up to the Phoenix area, they'll be at 104 when we're at that 103. Nogales at 97 Thursday, 95 in Sierra Vista, and 102 in the Safford area. And the National Weather Service says that there are going to be some risks to our health because of this heat. Here's a look at their heat risk map, not only tomorrow, but as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. And you can see sort of the increase in that area of orange that starts to make its way in from the southwest, covering a good portion of southern Arizona as we head into our Thursday. So what that orange means is that the heat is going to pose what they deem a moderate risk to our health. And so when we take a look at that list here, what that means is that this is in particular going to impact people who are sensitive to the heat, mainly those without effective cooling and or adequate hydration. So as we head into our heat of summer, make sure you're checking on others as we want to make sure that their AC is still working and working properly. Here's a look at that big warm up after 103 Thursday, back down to 102 Friday, still triple digits and pretty darn close as we head into the weekend too. 98 Saturday, 97 on Sunday. So today that storm system moves out, bringing us the wind. You'll notice the wind tapering off considerably tomorrow, but our high temperature will be just a few degrees warmer from what we had today. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even warmer still. That's when that ridge of high pressure starts to move in, clockwise flow around. That brings on that sinking air that drives our temperatures up. And then as we head into Saturday and Sunday, a touch cooler. The wind perhaps will return a bit, but not likely to be as bad as what we've had as of late. Here's a look at that TEP Clean Energy Report, Valerie. Over 433,000 homes powered by the sun and the wind as of 2 this afternoon. There's your 13 First Alert 7-day forecast. Definitely want to brace for that triple digit heat. It's here.
Yeah, at least so. It's on the down later. All right, thank you. Coming up, you'll want to sit and stay for this. How this canine has a special role with Coral Valley Police.
13 News This Morning. Red flag warning in place you can see in southeastern Arizona. This will be with us today, tomorrow. 13 News This Morning. Weekdays 4:30 to 7 a.m.
This First Alert forecast is sponsored by D&H Air Conditioning. If you have a cooling problem, call someone you can trust. D&H Air Conditioning. Service so great you'll wish we fixed everything.
13 First Alert weather, the most accurate forecast.
We need to use extreme caution and continue to do so with anything that can spark a fire.
Your first alert at what's happening now.
But everybody's in this red flag warning for today. Tomorrow, Cochise County will be in this.
Accuracy you can plan on.
And we're dealing with really dry air, strong gusty winds, and we have the Bryce fire currently burning.
So let's track out those winds as they really ramp up to start off your work week.
This is why we First Alert. Here in Arizona.
Jesus. Praise the Lord.
None on the earth nor heaven below. And I have found more beautiful. You are my treasure, my great reward. And I just wanna bring your heart. It's all I wanna do. I just wanna stay in heart and pour my love on you, no matter how much the cost. I freely give it all to you.
And welcome back. Capital One's wallet is nearly $500 million lighter. It's paying $425 million to settle a lawsuit. It claimed people were falsely promised higher interest rates on 360 savings accounts, and while a different account had better rates. Most of the money will go to account holders to make up for the difference in interest rates. A bankrupt genetic testing firm will live on through new ownership. A drug company, Regeneron, is buying 23andMe, including the genetic data of millions of people. The $250 million deal allows for testing services to continue without interruption. 23andMe collected genetic data from 15 million people through DNA testing kits, but demand had fallen, and a data breach 2 years ago exposed information on millions of customers. Police in the Oro Valley have help for when life gets rough. They're turning to Aerie, the wellness dog. She and her handler, Darren Wright, joined 13 News, Devin Shea, on Tucson Now this afternoon. Aerie has been with the department for more than a year. She originally was being trained in Washington State to be a drug-sniffing canine, but she kept going to people instead of drugs. So she found a new job with Oro Valley Police, helping make people happy during tough times.
On a daily basis, we go around to everybody and we just make people stay happier. And then if we do have a critical incident, she's there to be able to make people's, to help them through that.
I met her, she's great. She also provides comfort to victims of violent crimes while they're being interviewed by police. We're told other departments also have programs like this and are considering it. And you can see more of this interview on our website, and every weekday, our demonstration goes beyond the headlines on Tucson Now Live. You can watch it online at tucsonnow.live and on our mobile news app. Coming up, a final check for the 13 First Alert forecast right after this quick break.
13 News is Southern Arizona's breaking news leader.
See what's happening now and what you can expect next.
Always live, local, late breaking.
Tomorrow is the First Alert Action Day. Strong with
Smoothly Tucson. These big changes in your life with fast-moving storms that can disrupt your whole day.
And take caution if you're driving this morning.
But you're good because you watch 13 News First Alert Weather.
We have big changes overnight.
You get that First Alert with forecast where you live.
You might be feeling it. Pollen
Whether it's sunny or severe, we get it right. You get it first. 13 News First Alert Weather. Live, local, late breaking.
Hello, this is Franklin Graham. There's a lot of troubled hearts out there today. Jesus told us, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. You can give him your troubled heart right now. He's the one who can give you peace and comfort in these turbulent times we're living in. You see, the problem we have in this world is sin. And the Bible says all of us are guilty. Every one of us has sinned. But God sent his son to save us.
Yes.
Jesus Christ came and he took our sins to the cross. He died and shed his blood on the cross. He was buried. But on the third day, God raised his son to life. And if you're willing to confess your sins and turn from them and believe on the name of Jesus Christ, you can be saved. Just pray this prayer with me right now. Dear God, I'm a sinner. I want to turn from my sins. Forgive me. I believe Jesus is your son. I want to trust him as my Savior right now. Amen. If you prayed that prayer, call the number right now that's on the screen. We've got people who want to speak with you. God bless you.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. The heartbeat's strong, steady, unwavering. Like the people who keep this country moving. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. In every Chevy truck, like every Chevy driver, dependability comes standard.
Get the freedom to save 0.9% financing for 60 months on this Silverado. That's over $6,600 in average finance savings. Or get $7,600 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. See Watson or O'Reilly Chevrolet.
And there's one last one, 213 First Alert 7-day
forecast.
forecast. 94 tomorrow, but then
Yes.
inching closer to 100. Wednesday, 99.
Yes.
We might eke out the triple digit mark, but we'll definitely be there Thursday with 103.
Great.
All right, I'm going to leave you with a look from Mount Bigelow.
Wow.
Thank you for joining us. We're back at 6.
Yeah.
Live, local, late breaking news